Hi everyone. So I basically switched to iPhone 6s, which is basically a 6 years old phone. It's running on iOS 14 and will get iOS 15. I actually copied all the data, like as you can see, it's exactly same from my iPhone to iPhone 6s. But the question is, why would I do that? So I'll give you background first. So this is a real life situation right now. Actually, I'm planning to get Samsung Z Flip 3 and I actually spent all my YouTube saving on this A7S 3. So I have to sell my iPhone 12 to get the Z Flip 3. And the phone was supposed to launch on I think 27th like rest of the world, but in India it's coming on 10th September. But the problem is I sold my iPhone 12 in advance. Don't worry, I still have my iPhone 12 with me because I'm supposed to give this phone to my friend at the end of this month. But the Z Flip will come on 10th September. That's why I decided to switch to this iPhone 6s. This is actually borrowed from some friend, so I wanted to use it till I get that Z Flip. I mean, I can use any Android phone right now, but the thing is, I want to transfer my WhatsApp chat from iPhone to Samsung because WhatsApp has recently launched this feature on the foldable event that Samsung is the first one who's going to get this feature. I don't use any third party or paid software, and this time I really don't want to lose my WhatsApp chat like I did at the first time. So I am waiting for Z Flip 3. That's why I need to keep one iPhone so I have that all of my data there so I can just easily move to Z Flip 3. So that's why I switched to iPhone 6s, and I was actually going to give the good news to my friend whom I sold my iPhone 12 to, that I'm going to give this phone on time, but I couldn't use iPhone 6s for more than a day. So let's talk about what happened. See, we all know about iPhone 6s. I think it is one of the best phone Apple ever released. It's a great size, I mean good performance, decent camera, great display. I did not mind the design of this phone. This phone actually held up really well, and I don't mind the size because I really like compact phones. So using this phone was not a problem. Yes, it's a quite small when you're typing, but I was still happy with the phone. So size was not the issue. And the display was not either. Yes, it's a 4.7-inch IPS LCD display, but it's a retina display and it is still one of the best LCD you can find in the market. Yes, it's not the brightest panel, but if you're using it outside, it's going to be perfectly fine. So I did not have any problem with the display itself. It's been quite weird using that 16 by 9 aspect ratio right now because if you watch some videos, even I record in video in this 20 by 9 ratio. So it was a little bit weird, but it was still okay. And otherwise the display quality was also good. The color accuracy of the screen is also really good. I mean, it's still better than that Samsung that is coming with the TFT display nowadays. So display was not an issue at all. So if it's not the display, it's going to be performance, right? I mean, it is a 6 years old phone and A9, like how can it stand against the A14 Bionic chip? Well, it's kind of true that it's not a great performance phone right now. It's actually really old, and yes, it has been a little bit glitchy. And if you can see on the screen right now that on Twitter it was dropping the frame. Even if you try to open some app, it's going to take really long time. But it was still usable. I did not face any issue as such that one of the app is not working because it's on the latest software, so nothing is actually ignored. Like you can use any app you want on this phone, even though it's really old. See, I don't play games on my phone, so if I've been using this phone for a month or so, it would have been really fine. And as I told in the beginning, it's using iOS 14 and it's going to update on iOS 15, which is actually incredible. So I don't have to worry about the security itself. If I talk about security, this phone has Touch ID, no Face ID, and I've been actually happy. So, I mean, if you're wearing mask, because I took this phone to my office, and every time I have to go out, I don't have to like remove my mask or enter my PIN code. So in that department, I was also happy. So it was not an issue with the security, biometrics, or even the operating system. Well, at this point, you have probably guessed it that why I switched back to iPhone 12. It's the camera. Well, no. See, I don't use my camera every day. I mean, if I have to take some pictures, this phone would have been fine, and I can really survive without night shot sometimes. And if I have to record video, this phone still can record 4K 30 frames per second. I mean, it's a very old chipset, but it has been a flagship all the time. So 4K 30 frames per second, that's how I usually record my video. So in camera department, I was also okay. So at this point, the design is fine, the display is fine, the performance is fine, the camera is fine. The network reception was also good. I did not face any problem while taking some calls. The Wi-Fi speed were also okay. But the problem was this device did not last me half a day. Okay, I know the battery has been a problem with these iPhones. I mean, every iPhone with the 4.7-inch screen for a very long time. And I've seen people struggling and carrying power bank all the time while they're traveling, but I did not realize it until I experienced it. So the battery percentage of this phone is 88%, and on my iPhone 12 it was 93%. Yes, I should not compare iPhone 12 with this phone, and but the problem was I fully charged this phone, so I was transferring my data from iPhone 12 to iPhone 6s. By the end of half an hour, my iPhone 12 was around 91%, so it took 9%, and my iPhone 6s was around 40%, so it almost finished 60% because the phone got really hot while transferring the data. But okay, in the setup process it happens, and it was like my first iPhone 6s, so I thought I'll give it a try. So I charged it fully again, and I went to my office. So for the first half an hour, I think it was good because Apple usually retains its battery, like at least the first percentage for a long time, even if it's degrading in the bag, you'll still see that number. But after that, it was decreasing like anything. So it was decreasing either 1% per minute or more than that. So from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. it was down to 37%. And luckily I had a lightning cable in my office, so I put it on charge, and the charging speed is also really slow. I mean, we are spoiled with that bigger batteries and faster speed nowadays. So using this phone nowadays, which is like decreasing seriously fast and the charging speed is really slow. So it was actually charging slower than it was decreasing the battery itself. So it basically took 2 hours to fully charge this phone from 37% to 100%, and I think it took almost the same time to decrease it. So battery of iPhone 6 says at this particular point of time it's not usable for me. Well, that was the reason, and I put my SIM back into iPhone 12 as soon as I came back home, and I called my friend and said that he has to wait a little bit longer because using iPhone 6s in 2021 it's not that easy. Like, it's not, unless this phone is going to be your backup phone, it's going to stay at home and you can charge whenever you want to, it's okay. But otherwise I would not recommend this phone to anyone, and I think that's the reason I don't even recommend iPhone SE 2020 to anyone in this particular point of time. So if you use this phone for 6 months, it might last you a day somehow, but I don't think this phone or even iPhone SE is really good because the batteries are really smaller, and the apps are heavy. Even the chipset cannot handle the heat so much. So in 2021, I definitely do not recommend iPhone 6s or even any of those iPhone those have 4.7-inch screen. It's really hard to survive on that because in emergency when you need battery and in some point of time, because this phone does not support wireless charging, and if you have to rely on a lightning cable and you somehow cannot find it somewhere, you're doomed. So that was for this video, and if you want more real life experience, you can subscribe to my channel or not. Thanks for investing your time. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.